One time when I was working as a pizza delivery guy, it was a regular evening and I was cruising around town with a car full of piping hot pizzas. I had just left Freddy's Pizzeria on Elm Street, ready to make a delivery on Maple Avenue. I punched the address into my GPS, and it led me to this old, creepy-looking house at the end of a dimly lit cul-de-sac. The place gave me major goosebumps, but hey, a delivery's a delivery, right? I grabbed the pizza box and walked up to the front door. The porch light flickered as I rang the doorbell. After what felt like an eternity, the door slowly creaked open, revealing a tall guy with messy hair and eyes that looked like he hadn't slept in weeks. He gave me this weird smile that sent shivers down my spine. I handed him the pizza, and he just stood there staring at it for an uncomfortable amount of time before finally handing over the money. His hands were trembling like crazy. I tried to make some small talk, asking if he wanted any Parmesan or red pepper flakes, but he just mumbled something unintelligible and slammed the door shut. I could have sworn I heard some faint whispering from inside the house. I hustled back to my car, half expecting the guy to come chasing after me or something. As I was driving away, I couldn't shake off this eerie feeling. I decided to call it a night and head back to the pizzeria. But just as I was about to turn onto Main Street, I saw something that made my heart skip a beat. There, in my rearview mirror, I saw the same guy from the creepy house, standing in the middle of the road, staring right at me. I hit the gas and sped away, my heart pounding like crazy. I took a few quick turns, trying to lose him if he was following me. Eventually, I managed to shake him off, and I made my way back to Freddy's Pizzeria. I told my manager about the whole ordeal, and he just brushed it off, saying I was probably overreacting. But man, that experience was enough to make me double-check every address from then on and think twice before taking a delivery to a sketchy-looking house on a deserted street. Just thinking about it still gives me the creeps, and I can't help but wonder what the deal was with that guy on Maple Avenue. One night during a pizza delivery shift, I was cruising down Jefferson Street, jamming to some tunes and ready to drop off a couple of pizzas on Monroe Avenue. The neighborhood seemed chill, and I was looking forward to a quick in-and-out delivery. I pulled up to the address, which turned out to be this quaint little house with a well-kept garden out front. Seemed like a normal place, nothing off about it. I grabbed the pizzas and walked up to the door, feeling pretty relaxed. I rang the doorbell, and a few seconds later, the door swung open. Standing there was a lady, probably in her 40s, but there was something off about her vibe. She had this overly cheerful smile plastered on her face that didn't quite match her eyes. They had this intense, almost wild look. I handed her the pizzas, and she just stared at them, not saying a word. I cleared my throat and tried to break the silence with some casual chatter, asking if she needed any napkins or soda. She suddenly snapped out of it, blinked a few times, and then giggled like a maniac. "I've been waiting for these pizzas," she said in this weird sing-song voice, like something out of a horror movie. I managed a nervous chuckle, thinking maybe she had a quirky sense of humor. But then she asked if I wanted to come in for a slice. Now, alarm bells were ringing in my head. I politely declined, making up some excuse about needing to get back to work. She pouted for a second, but then her smile returned, wider than before. She handed me the money. It was all crumpled up and damp, which gave me the creeps. As I turned to leave, I couldn't help but glance into the house. Dimly lit, weird art on the walls, and an unsettling feeling in the air. I practically jogged back to my car and got the heck out of there. But here's the kicker. As I was driving away, I looked in my rearview mirror and saw that lady standing at her window, watching me leave. The whole thing felt like something out of a horror flick. I finished my shift that night with a few more deliveries, but let me tell you, every time I got an order from Monroe Avenue, I couldn't help but feel a chill down my spine. It's funny how a seemingly normal house can give you the heebie-jeebies just from one strange encounter. I was cruising down Oak Street heading to make a pizza delivery on Elmwood Avenue. It was a misty evening, the kind that adds an eerie touch to everything. I pulled up to the address, and immediately I knew something was off. The house looked dilapidated, like it hadn't seen a paintbrush in decades. The windows were boarded up, and the porch was all creaky and sagging. But hey, I've seen my fair share of quirky houses, so I brushed it off and grabbed the pizza. I walked up to the front door and knocked. No response. I knocked again, a bit louder this time. Still nothing. Just as I was about to turn away, the door slowly swung open, almost like it was doing it on its own. My heart was racing, but I figured maybe it was just old hinges. I called out "pizza delivery" and peeked my head inside. The place was dimly lit, and I could smell this musty, damp odor that hit me like a brick wall. I stepped inside cautiously and saw a faint glow coming from a room down the hall. Against my better judgment, I followed the light, pizza box in hand. The glow led me to what looked like a makeshift shrine. There were candles, strange symbols, and creepy-looking dolls arranged in a circle. And in the center of it all, there was a dude sitting cross-legged and wearing this robe-like thing. He had his eyes closed and was muttering something under his breath. I cleared my throat, and the guy's eyes shot open. I felt like I was staring into the abyss. He smiled, or I think it was a smile, and motioned for me to come closer. I kid you not, I was frozen for a second, but then I managed to blurt out that he owed me money for the pizza. He reached into his robe and pulled out a wad of cash that looked like it had been crumpled and unfolded 100 times. I practically snatched it from his hand and placed the pizza on a nearby table, trying not to look at the freaky stuff around me. As I turned to leave, the guy started chanting something in a language I couldn't understand. My heart was pounding like crazy as I rushed out of that house, not even bothering to close the door behind me. I got in my car and drove away as fast as I could, feeling like I had just stumbled into some supernatural ritual.